Hello crafty friends, this is the Papered Chef here. In today's Brother ScanNCut Tips and Tricks tutorial, you are going to learn how to cut out and layer stamped images and sentiments. The images and sentiments we'll be using are from the Lovely Day Paper Pumpkin Kit, which is the February 2020 Paper Pumpkin Kit. So I dedicate this video to all of my Paper Pumpkin subscribers. Thank you so much. And next month, as a special gift from Stampin' Up, you're going to get a free stamp set in your kit. So let's just get started. And I will definitely be doing more tutorials on this kit because it's amazing. So so far I saw this big stamp and I said this has got to be cut out with the ScanNCut. Just open my kit. Has to be done. Has to be colored with the alcohol blends markers. Okay, so that's what I did. I stamped it. I put it on a large block. I've already done that. I dried it. I only had, out of about 10 stamps that I've tried, this is block E, by the way, only one didn't stamp perfectly. So this is a really easy stamp. But there's really no trick to it, but I just wanted to, I stamped those ahead of time, just to save time. Now I'm going to stamp the flower from the Lovely Day stamp set using Stampin Block C. But of course, if you are a subscriber, they give you a free Stampin Block when you first subscribe to Paper Pumpkin. So you don't really need to have all these different stamping blocks I have, but if you do, it makes it easier for you to keep your projects on blocks. And while you're working on it. Hey, it's kind of like a car. You keep your car on blocks while you're working on it. Just thought of that analogy. All right, so then what I'm doing is I'm stamping in Memento Black this flower. And the reason I'm stamping this with you is because I want to teach you a little trick here when you see something like this. Because it happened to me. And I want to teach you how to enclose that. And I also wanted to show you that this sentiment here, the lovely, can be stamped in a coordinating color. In this instance, one of the coordinating colors of the kits is Pretty Peacock. So I was stamping this in Pretty Peacock, even though the Rococo Rose is what came with the kit. That's like meaning all the kits come with a stamping block. So I'm using a different color than that came with it. I always just do it twice for my lessons, just in case. Every machine has a personality, every ScanNCut. And in case one doesn't get scanned the way I want it to, I still have a backup. All right, so here's the tip for you. Stamp in any color. It doesn't matter. Any color you want to use. It just matters that you're contrasting to the background. So this is, white paper. This is Whisper White cardstock. And you want to stamp. That was by the way Stampin' Block. You want to stamp, that was Stampin' Block B. You want to stamp on, with the contrasting color so that it has something to recognize. The other thing you need to know about the ScanNCut is you always need to enclose any gaps. Okay, I'm going to bring that closer to show you my stamped image. These gaps must be enclosed. So let's go like that. Enclose the gap. Enclose the gap. If not, it'll try to go in there and try to get, you'll start finding weird lines from the inside of the flower getting scanned, and you'll wonder why, but you always need to give it an enclosed image. Now this one was perfect. I didn't need to do any trickery or anything like that. So now we have them both, and we're going to put them on our mat. And because I'm layering in both, let's show you what I'm going to be layering in. I'm layering in Petal Pink, meaning after we cut out the first layer. I can show you that in black and white, but be sure to stick around, crafty friends, because at the end of my tutorials, I show you my finished products, finished things I did with the skills that you're learning. So I will show you what we're doing now, though, at least so you get an idea. So this is what we're doing with our ScanNCut. We're cutting out a stamped image with an outline distance of 0.04. When you put it on another background after that, we're going to cut it out with a bigger outline distance. Then we're going to cut it out. So this is Petal Pink, one of the coordinating colors with the Paper Pumpkin Kit. Then we can cut it out with a bigger outline distance with this rose gold foil, okay? So that's why I want to make sure when I put these on the mat that they all fit, because my rose gold foil is a 6x6. Ooh, that's some glare. It looks like a mirror. It's a 6x6 piece, so I want to make sure that all my stamped images will fit on there. So when I put this on up in the mat, which I have to pull closer, I'm going to try to get them to fit, and they will. See what I mean? I'm going to get them to all fit in this area so that later when I make a layer, that the layer will go around it. And the other thing I want to mention here, because I'm all about tips and tricks, is earlier when I was playing with this, I stamped the words too close together. And And when I did that, they overlapped when I cut them out. So don't stamp your, see what happened here? This is my, so that's what happens when you stamp them too close together. You want to leave them enough gap so that your layers that you create, layers meaning bigger, you're cutting out bigger layers for dimension and background. They need to have space. And see, I think I'm going to not even be able to put it there. I think those two are too close together. Anyway, you get, I hope you do as I say, not as I do is the term. Be sure to put a space between them, because that's what happened to me earlier. I didn't have enough space between them. All right, so depending on the part of your mat that scans better, let's see. I need to trim my paper. My top right of my mat, like I said, every machine has a personality, and in my case, top right, where it sticks better, it works better, scans better than the top left of my machine, or than the top, or than the bottom right. So I guess what I'm saying is, you can put these wherever you want on the mat. I'm just putting mine on the top right in sort of a 6x6 area. So, because remember I said I have, well, you know what, these are going to have to fit like that. Okay, and then I'm going to have to put these. I still have to trim this down a little, because when I layer those rose gold, I need that to fit in the 6x6 area. All right, it sort of does, so we're good. I mean, it does enough for this tutorial, I believe. At least I'll get one of these to scan in. Now, this is what I'm talking about. I wanted them all to fit in the top 6 inches. And of course, when you're doing this mass produce, you can do a bunch of these at once, and then you'll have your cards ready, like I have my projects ready, because I did all these, and I cut out a bunch of stamped images, and I colored a bunch of stamped images while watching TV, using my blends. Okay, so I do things at once. So here we go. We're going to load the mat. Or wait, the mat's already loaded, actually, because I've been playing with my machine all day, or for a while now. We're using the SDX125, but it doesn't matter which model of ScanNCut you have, right? You can follow along with whichever ScanNCut model you have. So whenever you turn on your machine, you're going to see pattern, and you're going to see scan. And for those of you new to the ScanNCut, this is how you load your mat, with that button there. You're all going to see pattern and scan no matter which model you have. So we're going to say scan, because we're going to scan these images and cut them out. All the models of ScanNCut have direct cut. Hit direct cut, because we're directly cutting out the stamped images. This is asking where you want to temporarily store your information. We're going to store it on the machine. And this might be a little different on different models, but I'm able to pick a 12x6 scanning area. So I will go ahead and do that. And if not, the machine will just be set to 12x12. It saves you a little time, that's all. I like to use 12x6 cutting area. Okay, and then let's see what else. Recognition mode, black and white, recognition mode. I'm moving my images up a slight bit on the mat too. Hear that sticky sound? I just restuck my mat with some two-way glue. All right, so 12x6, scan, that's it. Okay, so you have, it just takes a little longer if you have 12x12 set up, no big deal. So now what it's doing is it's recognizing my stamped images. Okay, so there they are. Now we're going to say okay. And it looks good. I can see that they're selected, and you see all this mess over here. So your tip and trick is another tip and trick. So you go over here. First you select the area that you want. And this is the area that I want, this top right quadrant. Now, you could edit out all these little bits, but I like to go into ignore object size, and I like to tell the machine, let's just say 1/2 inch or so. Get rid of, or here, 0.75 of an inch. Okay, that should get rid of a lot of these unwanted bits over here. And if not, I'll show you how to edit those out. Don't ignore objects too big, or your actual word lovely will disappear on your screen, because you're ignoring that object itself. Okay, so it's really tight right now. I don't like tight cuts. They get to be sort of a hot mess, especially when you're cutting out sentiments. I like to put outline distances around my cuts. So go here to this outline distance, and I'm going to use 0.04 for the first time, for the first layer. because this is about layering images. So 0.04, right? That's a little white outline distance around. And we're going to say okay. And if at this point we could have edited out any extra little bits, but oh wait, there is something to edit out. Look at that. Okay, I'm going to go to edit. See that line? Edit. I'm going to toggle through the selection. See that? This is just toggling through. I want to trash that little line because that was the line between my 2 pieces of cardstock, and trash that. I mean, it wouldn't have hurt anything. It would have cut into it wouldn't have hurt anything if I didn't delete that line. But it takes longer to cut when you don't delete. Okay, so we're going to say cut. All right. Don't worry about this. It's saying that part of your pattern is off of the mat. I know it's really not. I mean, it might get rid of this one flower, but it's not really off the mat, but that's okay because that's why I told you we cut 2 of them. Later, I would have to move my cardstock over, which I had done at the beginning. I didn't put my cardstock too close to the top of the mat, but now it said you can't scan. Part of your image was hanging over the mat. So that's okay because really, I don't really want to cut out both roses anyway. Or are these roses? Someone's going to tell me what kind of flower these are, I hope. I didn't really want to cut out both of the flowers. I was just stamping them in case they both didn't get recognized. And in this case, they both got recognized, okay? So they were both recognized. It's just that one, when I put the outline distance around it, it became in a part of an area of the mat which can't cut. It doesn't matter. You saw that it got recognized. All I need to do to fix that is later I just moved the little image over away from the edge of the mat. And I just couldn't do that right now because I was getting into the point of, I mean, because I have a 6x6 piece of rose gold foil, I was trying to make sure everything fit in that top 6x6 area. All right, so it's cutting and I'm letting it go. Sometimes I pause, but I'm just letting y'all wait for that. So what I'm doing next is I'm going to replace. I'm taking the images off the mat and I'll replace them. I'll replace without removing the actual mat itself. Okay, I'm going to replace. Let's say okay. It says it's finished cutting. I'm going to say okay. I'm going to take this off and put the paper down for the first layer or the next layer now. So you just to peel your paper away. I'm showing you how to get these off the mat. Very important not to take your mat off for this layering technique. Now there are other layering techniques like using Canvas Workspace. Here we go. That's what we're doing. Is that awesome or what? Don't you love when you have a scripty font and you can just cut it out in one fell swoop and you don't need to use the pencil trick to connect your letters? And look at that. All we need to do is erase that now. Use a white eraser. Don't use the red eraser at the back of your on the back of your pencil because it'll leave like a mark. So just use a white eraser. Okay, so there. Now we're going to take this off. And remember, we only have one because this one I have to move over. It was too close to the edge of the mat. No big deal. We're going to cut that out later, but not now. I'm not making you wait for that. So here we go. So there's what we cut out. Beautiful job. Okay, now we're going to replace. Let's get those off my mat. I'm going to stick the Petal Pink. I'm using Petal Pink. It's one of the coordinating colors, and it's cardstock. So if you've been following along and you're using a CM350 right now, you would have used the blade depth of 4 for this Whisper White cardstock. But now if you guys are using blade depths, you need to change it to a blade depth of 5 or 6 for if you're using Stampin' Up! Cardstock. I would just say 5, and then we'll use 6 for foil. But I don't need to change my blade depth, so don't get confused, everyone. I can't actually record 2 tutorials. Unless when I'm doing one of my courses online, I do record 2 tutorials for each model of machine. But when I'm doing YouTube videos, just due to the time involved, I'm only recording this video for the SDX125. But I'd like to tell I have tons of like ScanNCut 2 viewers and CM350 viewers, other models, and I need to just tell you what to do if you have that machine. Okay, so, but I don't want to do another whole tutorial. Not that I don't want to, I would love to do tutorials all day. I just can't. I wish I could, I can't. I'm working on my next course and it's been very, very time consuming. Okay, so where are we? We said, okay. Now, this is important. So we're going to hit the back button. And we can go ahead and get rid of that rose now because that rose, no, actually we don't need to get rid of it. We'll go ahead and, while we have it, it's going to get rid of it automatically anyway, so it doesn't matter. So we're going to put an outline distance of 0.08 next. That's what we're doing, 0.08. Okay, we're going to say okay. And the 0.08 just means we're going to put a layer now in Petal Pink, and the layer is going to be a little bit bigger. So we say okay. And we're going to say cut. And it's going to say it can't be done out of the effective area, but that's okay, right? I told you it would do that. So it's okay though, because later we'll cut that out. So now I'm cutting these same, here, this is what we're doing, just so you get the big picture here. Here's what we're doing. We're cutting a layer out in Petal Pink. Okay, and it's a little bit bigger. It's like an offset. It's a little bit bigger than the stamped image so that we can layer these. Okay, so here's one with a 0.04 outline distance. All right, and then this one is a 0.0. It's like putting a little puzzle together, isn't it? Or is it the other way around? Nope. There we go. So that's what we're doing. We're making a 0.04 outline distance. When you see how this goes together with the parts of the paper pumpkin kit, there's a little nip there. Always get your little tiny, you need like little tiny paper snips to fix that. Sometimes, and that's another troubleshooting tip why I'm here. When you see little nips or whatever, sometimes these little things sticking out, that just means your blade needs to be sharpened. And I sharpen my blade with foil, with aluminum foil. I have a video on that. I'll put that in the description later. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're doing a 0.08 outline distance. Finish cutting, say okay. Go back. I'm just going to turn the, I'm not even going to turn the camera down. I'm just going to because you guys get the idea now. You're like, oh, I get this, I hope. I hope you're like, I get this. You could do this all day long with layer after layer after layer. So here's my piece of Petal Pink cardstock. Okay, here's our lovelies. Let's take the lovelies off. And I'm not going to do the third layer with the lovelies. We'll do the third layer with the flowers just to give you an idea. So how cool. You might not see it now, but when you put that against the contrasting background, you know, super cool that we have layered sentiments. Makes them way easier to read. So keep the flowers in mind. We're going to pull those off. We'll do the copper for the flowers. Just the flowers. I mean, they're all flowers, but I'm saying we're going to do the copper just on these two flowers because of the fact that yes, Paper Chef, put these too close to the edge of the mat, and of course there's no room to grow. So what do I mean by that? Let's go back, and we're going to just hit edit. I'm just going to trash these. The reason is, when you stamp and when you are doing layering, you can't be too close. You can't be too close to each other. Okay, that's one. I did leave enough space, but you also can't be close to the edge of the mat because when you tell it for these to have bigger layers, I can get rid of one of these. I'll get rid of one. They're just too close together. When I go to add another layer, they'll like cut right into each other. So anyway, now we're just going to do it to these because this gives you the idea. So what I have done is I've edited off what I don't want to put the copper around. I don't mean copper. I keep saying copper, but it's really rose gold. But you know, hey, you're using whatever materials you have. So go to this outline distance, and we're putting an outline distance of 0.12 now. All of these will be in the description. All of these settings, okay, if you will. All the settings will be in the description. So 0.12. So now we're laying this copper onto the, not copper, rose gold. Okay, we're laying that on there. We don't need to change the blade depth, but those of you using a CM350, you will need to change your blade depth right now to 6 if you're cutting this foil. These really thick foil sheets by Stampin' Up. And by the way, I got this one out of a product medley. I'm hitting cut as I talk. It's called the, let's start. It says it'll take a minute, it won't take too long. It's called the Everything. Here's what I do when I'm cutting foil too. Watch what I do. You either use painter's tape or you sort of hold your, let me focus in there. I kind of hold my hand there, or painter's tape, because really this stuff is so, even though I just restuck my mat, it's so thick, I'm afraid I don't want it to slip. All right, so there's this thing called Everything is Rosy product medley. It's an awesome product medley. It comes with stamps, dies, ribbon, embellishments, all kinds of foil sheets, designer series paper, all kinds of stuff. Okay, it was featured in one of my courses. In fact, when I did card making with the ScanNCut. I'm just going to show you how to remove this. Anyway, it's on clearance right now. The Everything is Rosy product medley, and in there you can get. Oh, looks like I spit a little bit on there. Okay, in that product medley you can get this foil. I mean, don't get the product merely just to get the foil. I hope you would like the stamp set as well. But I'm just saying that that's where I'm getting this foil from. The rose gold foil, because it matched the kit perfectly. Oh, I'm so happy when things work. And now, okay, let's take the lovely that we cut out earlier, and let's layer that with now this rose gold foil. And I'm going to show you how this looks on cards, of course, but you get the idea. The dimension, dimension, dimension. You're taking your cards from being like, I don't know, amateurish level, right? With no layers, stamping straight onto them, which is fine because they're still cute and everyone will love them. But now you're taking it to professional level. Look at this, professional level. We're going to go like this. We're going to go like this. I mean, this is, the possibilities are endless. People are going to go, wow, when they see your cards. Of course, you're going to erase that little pencil mark on these. You're going to erase the pencil mark at the bottom of that flower because you want to go with what the artist intended, and they didn't intend for the pencil mark. Okay, layers upon layers, and you can do this all day long. Of course, this little one, there's a little piece in the middle. I have to cut that little piece out. So now I'm going to show you the effect of doing this and what that looks like on cards. Let's get this out of the way. Done 3 projects so far with this paper pumpkin kit. 3 alternate card projects, and I'll explain how I did them and what materials I used. So let's find them and show you the blends. Show you the blends I used. Okay, so the blends I used, because I was using coordinating colors, which if you watch my paper pumpkin video, which will probably be soon on my channel, you're going to get to see how the supplies and the list of coordinating colors. But in this case, I did use, this is the color lifter. I needed the color lifter, or it's kind of like your eraser, but it makes your alcohol markers lighter. I needed that. I needed the old olive for the leaves, Petal Pink to make things lighter and to use for the flowers, Rococo Rose for the flowers, and Rich Razzleberry. Okay, so those are the blends I used for these projects. The projects that were sitting right here. Oh, here they are. Okay. So the first card I'm gonna talk about layering is this one. So I'm using the materials right out of the paper pumpkin kit, meaning if you're going, wow, did you cut this with your ScanNCut? Did you cut that background? Yes, you could cut the background, but you don't need to, because when you get paper pumpkin kits, they come with all the elements you need. These really beautiful card bases like was already in the kit, and these laser cut card backgrounds. And they had little splotches, if you can see that. I didn't do the little splotches. They look kind of cool. There's a little splotch back there, and there's like an outline of a rose that you could have stamped onto the card. I don't even have that to show you right now because everything else, I put all the supplies from the kit away to make room for my ScanNCut. So this is with one layer. So you have your layer, you have your 0.04 outline distance in your first layer, and you have your second layer of 0.08 outline distance. The word lovely with the 0.04 and the 0.08 outline distance. Okay, now the thinking of you did not come in the kit. The word lovely came in the kit. The thinking of you, I turned this into a sympathy card for a good friend who lost her son, and I didn't know where I could find the right words for sympathy card, but until I kind of looked through my old paper pumpkin kits. I looked at the Blissful Blooms. I don't know why they called it Blissful Blooms when it's about sympathy. Oh, it's about a lot of things, that's why. Okay, well, Blissful Blooms had a really good sentiment inside it. And it says, so I used the thinking of you on the outside, and the loss is immeasurable, but so is the love left behind. Okay, so that's the sentiment I chose to use for this sympathy card. But everything else is from the kit, and I used Wink of Stella. I used Wink of Stella, meaning the glitter pen on that rose. So from our kit. The sequins are from the kit, the card base, the outline, even this little thing that has the foiling on the outside, just not the words thinking of you and not the words inside there. Okay, so I can't wait to get refills for this paper pumpkin kit. Only subscribers can get refills. All right, so if you want to be a subscriber, of course, check out the link. You don't want to miss next month's kit. All right, now one more time with one layer. Okay, so now I did a Happy Mother's Day card. This is an alternate paper pumpkin project. The lovely was cut out of foam, and I didn't do that. That came in the kit. The foam dimensionals came in the kit, but I colored this one with Rococo Rose. Oh, by the way, this is Blackberry Bliss. I think I said that. Blackberry Bliss. This is Rococo Rose, light and dark, and old olive, and then this little Happy Mother's Day sentiment. And by the way, that's Pretty Peacock Pretty Peacock card base came in the kit. The Happy Mother's Day came out of one of my old kits. I save all my old kits. Sentimental Rose, let's see, April 2019. I did scan and cut tutorials on cutting out the rose from this kit. So that's where I got the Happy Mother's Day. Okay, and then I added some butterflies to 2 of my cards. Okay, so the 2 cards, let's see. I mean, not the 2 cards. The stamps that I use for those 2 cards, this one and the next card, is I did cut out some butterflies using my punch from the Butterfly Gala stamp set by Stampin' Up, which is in our catalog right now. And when I say in our catalog, I mean, it means it's on our website. The catalogs are paper, but they're also online. So don't think you actually need a paper catalog to find what I'm showing you. It's just, I'll have links in the description. And this one here, the Butterfly Punch. Now, of course, scan and cut users can make their own butterflies, but I'm using a punch because that's what I have. Now, this little thing here in the back, this extra layer behind the circle is from some paper I have called the Designer Series paper, in color Designer Series paper. So that's where I made that little layer of Rococo Rose. That's a gingham background layer. And that's where I got the little, I was making, for one of my card making courses, I made a lot of extra butterflies, but these little butterflies are stamped in Rococo Rose, so they match. Okay, so the third card, whew, this one's my favorite card. I used just the kit for this card, I think. Oh, no, I didn't. Of course, I used the punch. All right, so this card, when I say my favorite, what I mean is the roses are all cool, okay? So, or whatever we're going to call them. Someone will tell me what these are. I think they're roses. Well, these colors are nice, but when you color something, you have to get a feeling from it. And I felt the best coloring this one. I didn't feel the best coloring the dark color. So I'm going to be making light ones. I like these 2 lighter ones better because of how it makes me feel while I'm coloring those colors in. So I use Rococo Rose and Petal Pink for the blends markers to color those in. And I used the sentiments from the kit. Have a lovely birthday. But now here's what I was just teaching you about the layering. Look when you add that 3rd layer of copper foiling. Or not copper, rose gold foiling. Look at that. It just adds an extra layer of dimension that you can't get from just trying to use your scissors, fuzzy cutting, or whatever. Or you just can't get that. And then I added some butterflies in rose gold that I cut out using the punch. And let me show you how this card opens. This one's pretty cool. It's a little, I guess they call them, I don't know what they call them, little side fold. If anyone knows what the name of that card is, the name of that fold, but I love it. You could do this with your scan and cut too. Easily make a little slit for one of these notches. Okay, so a side folding card. Okay, so those are the 3 card examples, and this is Old Olive envelopes that came in the kit. All these card bases came in the kit. I just jazzed them up with these layered stamped sentiments. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe because I have lots of Brother ScanNCut tutorials, paper pumpkin inspiration, craft fair inspiration, and lots of tutorials on Stampin' Up products because I'm a demonstrator. So thank you for watching. This is the Papered Chef. See you next time.